Hey everyone, this is Seiji.
My name is Umu, and I'm React to the Cage channel creator.
Hello, my name is omg-horns.
Welcome to our Jennie Dangerous Dream reaction. When I was at music conservatory, I didn't have room in my schedule to take any jazz-related theory classes or improv classes, so I'm relying on the two other guys in this video to make all of the analysis related comments while I just freak out about Jennie because I am so excited to see that she's back. Her last release Run grew on me a ton, and I loved all of her releases before, and I checked out a tiny bit of this and it seemed very calming and relaxing. Let's get it! Woo! Jennie!
3, 2, 1, boom. Starting with the solo piano. I'm assuming that's her, because it is. She's writing her own music.
I love the effect on the piano. I bet it's gonna clear out soon, unless this repeats throughout the entire track. It's like the ultimate lo-fi hip-hop sound to have the record scratch or fuzz.
And vinyl sounds really warm, so it creates this effect. You already see that there's a lot of orange in the video too, which kind of matches that. So synth bass sounds good. They add another portion to this track to make it, to change the harmony. You have a minor 2-5 going to 6 instead of just a 2-5 to 1, which was before.
Hey, Duke! Nice. Oh, so she's looking at herself as a kid maybe when she got inspired to start playing piano and get into music. That's great. Maybe. Who knows? That's a very Tom Mishy sort of synth. Kind of like the strings in the background. Stringy sounds.
Oh wow, that chord gave me so many goosebumps.
The reason why it sounds so kind of disruptive is because they did it on the diminished 2-5 or minor 2-5, which you expect to resolve to a major chord, or to a minor chord, I'm sorry. So that's a regular 2-5-1. This is a minor 2-5-1.
Okay. This texture is so interesting. It's both calming but also a little improv section.
Cool, so that was like a pseudo improvised section. Sounds good because there's a lot of alterations that kind of weave through the chord progression, which is what you listen for in jazz, by the way. That's the variation part of jazz.
It ain't an Jennie song without her calming background vocals. Oh, they're gone now.
Okay, so that chord right there, part of the reason why this sounds so ambitious and it sounds really crunchy is because on these dominant chords, they're altering a lot of the chords. So by altering, we mean like, instead of playing the 5th, you make it a flat 5th, flat 5 or a sharp 5. It creates more tension, it makes them more colorful.
Is she like building herself as an artist and finding different parts of her life when she was younger that sort of add up to become who she is today? Oh, that was cool! Yes. Of course you give us a song with the solo in it.
Yeah, the dissonance, it's really good.
Hope I'm not moving too much. That wasn't it. You kidding me?
Man, hopefully we don't run into the Zoom problems that.
Okay, I did not update my Zoom, so I wonder if that has anything to do with.
Boom. Sorry.
Hello.
Here we go. What's up, Owen?
Hey guys.
We're all here. Okay, now you can be front and
Hello, what's
center.
up? Oh, nice.
Yay. How about you guys go first, because I have zero jazz knowledge, so everything that I'm gonna say is just gonna be like, this moment was nice.
I don't know. I should have listened probably more for the actual like chord progression and piano and things like that. I was mostly just talking about like, wow, this is great. I don't know. So
The
Seiji-
texture.
Right? Yeah, the texture. And she did like put in a bunch of really interesting scales when she was improvising. I thought that was pretty cool. Seiji, you probably have more to say about
Right.
that sort of.
It's pretty nice.
It's up to you, Seiji.
Oh no.
Are you're frozen? Seiji!
Yeah.
Okay, maybe just turn your video off, or okay, there you are again. Hi, we said you're our only hope. I don't know how much of what we said you heard.
Hardly any of it. I caught the first part of Owen's thing. That's about it.
Few inches later.
Oh no. I hope he's not. I hope we're frozen and he caught it and is not saying anything
Me
and
too.
doesn't have to repeat everything.
Hi, Seiji. Yeah, you broke up. Maybe should we turn off our cameras?
A few moments later.
What about that moment where like her vocal line ascended like crazy? Or was that the 2-5-1 to major? Like her vocal line just kept going up and up and up. I found it. 315.
Okay.
315 and to 320.
Oh, I mean that sounds like a circle of fifths progression to me. Going in the background.
I just keep I'm distracted by the strings.
Maybe I'm crazy
Oh wait.
because it goes like ba 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 throughout that
Right.
section, starting at like 310 something.
This whole time I was like never listening to the actual pitches of the bass.
I think that's probably what it is.
It definitely at least starts off that way. There's just what I found myself doing while listening to this song was it was an awful lot of listening to the textures
Mhm.
and then allowing the harmonies to just flow lightly over my ears. So it was a bunch of like twinkling, ear candy, niceness, and I wasn't actually paying attention to the bass, which would answer a lot of my questions about the harmonic structure.
Might help. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it did feel like I don't know, for something about this song didn't feel as like clear to me as some other songs from like the Ijin restaurant. And maybe it has to do with the production. Maybe it has to do with having a different feel for different sections because it felt like a lot of the song was pretty similar. Yeah, and so I don't know, I definitely kind of felt that sort of like flowing over me sort of feel for most of the song. I think that you did it very well there.
Yeah, I'm curious, Seiji, what do you think of the piano mixing? Because it felt at the very end, perhaps the sound was more dry than when it was inserted in the middle, like specifically improv parts.
Yeah, I think, well, it sounds like a lot less reverb and when they were improvising, right? They're trying to bring it out, raising the highs. I mean, the beginning they were trying to go for that lo-fi effect with having like the record player crackling in the background, and it was just like one of those it was just like a loop track pretty much until they bring in a synth bass. So.
But did you like the mixing overall, like the sound of the piano? Because I felt like we don't always get that hard hitting. Like they always try to make like miking in the lid and under the piano itself, while this actually felt like it might have been in the lid but very, very close to the, what is it called, the hit things,
The hammers.
Yes, that.
Yeah, no, it did feel like that. Yeah, there's definitely that kind of like bigger whooshier sound to it in some places.
Yeah, so
it's never a sound you'd want as a classical pianist, right?
No.
Or even a jazz musician. Like you definitely want the bigger, more open sound with more of the room.
right.
But to me it sounded like it just took a page out of lo-fi and kind of like like in a movie where you have the old piano that's so nostalgic. That's kind of what it reminded me of.
Yeah, and then to end our discussion, did you guys have a favorite specific moment?
I thought the improvising was honestly pretty good. What was cool about this track is that it has a minor 2-5-1 in it. And a lot of the improvisation really took advantage of the alterations that you can specifically do in that progression. So since it's a diminished 2, when it goes to 6, minor 6, like there's a lot more like alternate alterations that you can put onto the dominant chord to make it a lot more colorful. And the thing is, those are a lot more difficult to control, right? Because there is like your ear knows where the sonority is pushing the sound to go to.
I had the same sort of feeling. I liked definitely with like she did an alter scale over like the beginning. Well, I think it was over the 4 or something, like starting 2-5-1 to 6, I think. And I thought that was cool. It was like da 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 da, but it was just a bunch of crazy notes falling down, all jazz style, like that seemed unrelated, but were just kind of cool.
Heck yeah. And as for me, I was just really mesmerized by the synth sounds that kept having the pitch wheel like played with. So it was like pew, pew, wah.
Yeah.
So that's what also distorted my intake of the harmony, because everything was so constantly changing and there were just so many different textures that really stood out and didn't quite blend with each other all at once. So the soundscape was, I felt like, really interesting in this song.
Yeah, you can tell that she does a good job of staying present with the times. Because when you think about it, the other Legion R recording is very reminiscent of kind of what Esperanza Spalding was doing at that time. And now it's a little bit more of like what a lot of jazz musicians are doing in Los Angeles. It's a lot more similar to what's happening right now. So good for her. It's changing with the times.
Thanks so much, guys. I'm ready to wrap up if you guys are.
Cool.
Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and I hope you guys had a nice time watching our reaction. We will be reacting to this on the Classical Musicians React Season 5, whenever that happens, whenever COVID's over, whenever I'm reunited with whoever is comfortable to be on camera again. But until then, bye-bye.
All right, bye.